طيب. And these are some sayings of the scholars. Imam Ahmad, Mustafa Ahmad, he said that the correct view is that a woman is obliged to cover her entire body, even the face and hands. And Imam Ahmad said even the nails of a woman are aura. The nails, even these are aura, and they should be covered. And this is also the opinion of Imam Malik, rahimahullah. And Imam Malik, if you recall, he was the Imam of in Medina. He was in Medina, and Medina was the place where Islam flourished from, and the place where most of the Sahaba and Sahabiyat still were there, and the Tabain were there. So Imam Malik had a very good, he was in a very good position to understand the practices of and the cultures of the people of Medina and the early Muslims. Now, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he says it seems that the view of Ahmad is that every part of her is aura, even her nails, and this is also the view of Imam Malik, and this is in his Majmu' al-Fatawa. Finally, before we move on to the next section, I don't think we have time for the next section. See, when we talk about beautification, right? So I'm not saying all kinds of beautification is wrong. So scholars categorize it into three parts. Now, see, first of all, you need to understand there are two things, even for the brothers. Hygiene and beauty, they're two different things. And the brothers can also beautify themselves, look good for their wives, right? Because sometimes brothers, and this is a common problem, you see, in most of the, sometimes cases come to me for, marriage counseling and guidance. And the issue is that the husband, he wants the wife to look very nice for him, which is okay, which is fine. But he himself doesn't reciprocate that because the wife also has feelings. The wife's right upon the husband is that he needs to look nice and presentable and nice smelling to her as well. It works both ways. Rasulullah, you want the sunnah? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, before entering his houses, he would always do what? Miswak. He would brush his teeth with the miswak, with a stick, before entering the door, because he wanted to smell nice for his women, for his wives. This is the Prophet of Allah. So how come the husbands are pot-bellied and stinking and they don't have a bath? A bath a day is basic hygiene, especially when we have the water, and water is not a problem. So hygiene is something you have to take care of, both for women and for men. Beauty is something beyond that. That's the garnishing on the cake. But the hygiene is basic, what do you call it? Fundamentals of Islam, When you say Islam is about cleanliness and purity, hygiene goes hand in hand. It's like making sure you have a bath every day, cutting your nails, keeping your nails clean, brushing your teeth. Well, these things, you don't teach them in a separate course. This is something basic. But beautification itself, scholars say one is, the first category is mubah, what is permissible. Like a sister making herself up for her baharams, for her husband, and she can look nice to her brother, for example, no issue. But the husband has the most right on this kind of beautification. So any kind of makeup, whatever you like, go ahead, be my guest, as long as you have the money and the husband has the money, or you have your own money. Alhamdulillah, no issue. You're doing it with the intention of pleasing Allah. Because it's Allah who commanded this for you, that you look nice for each other. Libas lakunna wa antum libas lahunna. So you are libas for them and they are libas for you. Libas is like a garment. You both together, the husband and the wife, are like garments to each other. You're so close with nothing keeping you apart. So this is mubah, permissible. Not mandatory, not mustahab, not haram, it's permissible. Within your limits and your means. That's what I mean. Then you have something which is recommended, mustahab, which is like we talked about the fitra, the things of, what do you call it? The native inclination of a human being, like plucking the armpit hair, shaving the pubic hair, at least once in 40 days, trimming the nails. You know this. For the brothers, trimming the mustache, leaving the beard. All these are mustahab acts. You need to do this. Now, and what is haram now in terms of beautification? Plucking of eyebrows, tattooing, cross-dressing as they call it, even in the house. So even in the house, if a sister wears her husband's t-shirt, this is not permissible. This is not permissible. The sister dressing like the brother and the brother dressing like the sister is haram. This is what eventually leads to LGBTQ. Where did all this come from? It's not in the genes. It's a manifestation of these disobediences to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, and things like unnecessary cosmetic surgery. Some cosmetic surgery scholars have allowed to rectify some defects, let's say. But things like, like this Botox and fillers and all these kinds of stuff, which you want to do to make yourself, even if it is only for your husband. This is not, scholars say, inshallah, this is not correct, because you're changing the creation of Allah. Now, and the first point is eyebrows is a major issue, because these days we see this commonly. Sisters completely shave off their eyebrows, completely remove them, and then use, I don't know, some pencils or liners and draw this, whichever they want, arched and curved and I don't know what, yeah. So different geometrical shapes are made out. This is haram, haram. Rasulullah cursed the one who plucks them and who gets them plucked. Both are cursed. And cursing is what? Major sin. Cursing is major sin. Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu anhu, once a lady came to him and she said, I heard you're saying plucking eyebrows is haram. Huh? I've read the Quran cover to cover. I didn't find anything about eyebrows in the Quran. Are you saying this? So Abdullah bin Masud said, yes. Have you read the Quran? He said, yes, of course I've read the Quran. Have you read the ayat which says, meaning of which is, take what Allah's message has given you and keep away from what is forbidden you? He said, yes. Then he said, Allah's messenger, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, has forbidden plucking of eyebrows, and the ones who gets it plucked and the one who is plucking it. Both are cursed. So now the lady knew that, okay, he's right. But, she was like, how it is, when you're told you're wrong, you don't directly accept it sometimes. So she immediately said, what if your own family is doing it? So now she's attacking Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu anhu, the great Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, you're saying this, but what if your own family is doing it? Double standards. What about that then? Abdullah said, he pointed, he said, that's my home. That is my home. Go and see for yourself. So she goes inside. She comes back after a few minutes, very embarrassed. And she says, Abdullah asks her, what did you find? She says, you are right. I found them on the true deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Abdullah said something very amazing. He said, if they had been doing this, referring to his family, his wife, if they had been doing this, she would not have been my family. Allahu Akbar. So we'll stop with this. The next section we want to continue tomorrow, inshallah, is like we said, there are some scholars who permit, they don't say it should be uncovered, they permit the uncovering or the revealing of the face, and they use some evidences. So we'll look at those evidences and see what is wrong with them, if any, inshallah, and continue this tomorrow. We'll stop for now, inshallah. If you have any questions, please raise your hands. And let me quickly look at the chat box. Okay, I have two questions about the hadith from Osama bin Zaid. Person name Al-Qalbi. Why was he called Qalbi? About the fabric being thin, it was mentioned about Al-Qalbi wife to wear something inside, but I understand the Qalbi is used. He need not wear anything inside, which to me means men can wear thin clothes. Is this correct understanding? Okay, you need to put this in context. Okay, the question is, the Sahabi's name was Qalbi. Qalbi here is not Qalbi, it's Qalbi. It's regarding the heart, because there's a difference between the Qaf and the Kaf. Yeah, one refers to the heart, one refers to a dog. So it's not the dog, it's the heart, right? Okay, that's the first point. The second point, I think what I understand from the question is that, if you remember, the hadith talked about the cloth, a thick cloth, and Rasulullah did not want the wife to wear it without wearing anything inside, because the size of the bones, or the shape of the bones would be seen, the size of the bones would be seen. Now, so I think the question is, what about the man wearing it himself? Because it was given to the man, the Sahabi, the Egyptian garment. So first of all, it was thick, it was not thin. But Rasulullah was being doubly sure to be careful that she wears something inside it. The second thing which scholars say is that men are usually amongst men. Now, and in those days, in those days, people didn't have a luxury of having so many garments and different types of garments, and sometimes they would wear only an izar. Their top would be uncovered for the men. So this was something common, and this is not something attractive, even for the sisters. I mean, it's very rare. Like we talked about the example of 100 men and 100 women. Yeah. So for the brothers, this is fine. For the Sahabi, this was fine. Radiallahu anhu. But for his wife, Rasulullah wanted to be doubly sure, and she wanted to wear something inside, so it doesn't even show the bones. Wallahu alam. Taib. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. As was discussed partially last time, maintaining hijab to its fullest need and avoiding mutual interaction is not easy, particularly at workplace. As indicated, avoiding job sometimes could be difficult. Also, in my opinion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Certain jobs in health sector, we should encourage women to take up such jobs like gynecology, as we prefer, rather insist of women to be seen by I think male doctors is what he meant. Appreciate a practicable insight into this query, not to discourage them from taking such jobs. Jazakallah khair. Taib, okay. It's a common question asked many times, right? So the question is, doing a proper full hijab now in a workplace is difficult at times. Right. So let me ask the one who asked me this question, the brother, I think. What is the option do you have? What is the option you have? One is to disobey Allah and remove the hijab, or partially remove the hijab. Either way is disobeying Allah. Two, leave this job and get another job if possible, or leave this job and be without an income, maybe. What do you want to do? Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Razzaq. He is the one who provides. It is not this hospital providing you the money. It is not this job which is giving you the money. It is Allah who provides. Once we know this, and we have belief in this, and we have iman in this, this sister will not bat an eyelid before she drops this job, she leaves this job for another job. Personally, I know sisters, and may Allah reward them for this. And I'm talking about a place like in India, where it's a predominantly non-Muslim society. So this sister, may Allah reward her, had got a job as a teacher in a ladies' school. All she wanted was some time to pray salah, which they refused. The management refused. She said, thank you very much. Keep your job to yourself. And she left. And she's perfectly fine after that. See, at that moment, you may feel a bit scared because our iman is weak always. Always. Allah al-Mustan. We don't have that good iman. That risk is from Allah. And you're leaving this job because for the sake of Allah, because you want to worship Allah by doing the hijab properly. You think Allah will leave you penniless on the street when Allah is providing for the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musks of the world who totally reject him? And you are a Muslim and a Muslimah and you think Allah will leave you penniless? A'udhu billah, astaghfirullah. Always have good expectations from Allah. Always, always. In any situation, even if you're in solitary confinement for the past 6 months, have good expectations from Allah. That's the first part of the question. And I answered this question a bit briefly also last week, because there is a precursor to this question. Right? Why are you in a non-Muslim place? Why are you in a place where you cannot practice your deen correctly? Remember, practicing deen, brothers and sisters, is not only praying 5 times in the masjid. No. This is also practicing the deen. Make hijrah, like we talked about last time. But let's say, in spite of all that, you can't do that. So like I said, this is a choice between this and this. And this is a practical solution. The scholars would say, leave the job. So it's up to you. What do you want to do? Type. On the second part of the question, if my wife is pregnant or she has some gynecological issue, whom would I want to show her to? Obviously, a female doctor. Type, Ustad, you said female should not be working. Then how will a female become a doctor? Now, so the point is, going back to Surah, I think Hashar or Tahrim, I don't know, subhanAllah. Somebody should remind me. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O those who have believed, save yourselves and your families from hellfire. So my question to the brother is, what is your priority in life? Do you want to look after the whole ummah? Or do you want to save yourself and your family from hellfire? As per the command of Rasulullah. Obviously the latter. Right. So if you ask me, I would not want my daughter. Okay, she wants to be a gynecologist, that's fine. But as long as she's studying in an all-Muslim, all-female university, and she can go and come back with a full hijab, she doesn't have to mix with men. The professors are not men. It's fine. And we have universities like this in some parts of the world, Muslim world. Alhamdulillah. And if she wants to do that, fine. But then when she starts working as well, she has to be in a full Islamic hijab attire. And when somebody comes to see her, a lady or whatever, that's fine. That's okay, inshallah. So she sees another lady, that's okay, inshallah. But if the man comes as well, the lady should be with her always. The wife should be there with her always. She can't be, the gynecologist can't be with the man alone. Nah, this is khulwa. The wife should be there always. Or some female nurse. Nah. But complete hijab. I know doctors today in this part of the world, complete top to down, perfect Sharia hijab working in hospitals. So personally, if you ask me, I would discourage my daughter from that, personally, for reasons I have told you. But alhamdulillah, this is required. Yes, I agree with you. But do you want your daughter to go through sin and disobeying Allah just to achieve a goal, which she may or she may not? She may die before that. She may leave medicine halfway through. She may get married and her husband may say, don't work. Then what? What about all the sins you've committed in the middle? By going and traveling without hijab, meeting with male professors, shaking hands with them, looking and sitting next to non-mahram male students, discussing project work with them, project assignments, anatomy, dissection, blah, blah, blah. All sins, huge bucket of sins, just to become a gynecologist. Remember, in Islam, the end does not justify the means. The end does not justify the means. The end is up to Allah, and the means are the means of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallahu alam. I hope I've answered the question, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. Tayyib, Ustad, if there is no female gynecologist, how will the Muslimah get treated? The same question, yeah. So yes, I'm not saying there should not be female gynecologists. Please do have female, but the path to become a female gynecologist, that's what we're talking about. As long as she can go to study in a all women's college, and she can go in her proper Sharia attire, and there is no risk of non-mahram men touching her and she touching them and mixing with them and project work and this and that. Alhamdulillah, no problem. Please, ahlan wa sahlan. Please become a female gynecologist. No issues, inshallah. Nah? But the point is that, again, the end does not justify the means. The means we follow as per Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nah, alhamdulillah. And most of these doctors, subhanAllah, we see sometimes they have to travel abroad for future higher courses, higher degrees. Do we have such institutions? Yes, we do have institutions like this, like Princess Noora in Riyadh, for example. It's a fantastic place where it's a huge huge is an understatement, campus only for women, okay? And you have all sciences being taught there, engineering, medicine, everything is being taught there by female professors. And even the maintenance staff who come in to clean, they come in to clean in the night when nobody's there, right? In India, wallahu alam. In India, I don't know. See, again, the choice, sister, is that if you're in India, and it's a choice between what the sister wants to do, which is her desire to be a female gynecologist. She wants to be a gynecologist. And the fact that she may need or she may have to disobey Allah to become this. That's the choice you have. And the choice is very clear. It's up to you to decide. I don't want to say anything. The choice, it's not even a choice actually, but let's say it's a choice. On one hand, you have a desire, your own desire, because all of us have desires. I have the desire to marry 3 more wives. It's a desire. Maybe I want more than that. It's a desire. Somebody else may have a different desire. So we all have desires, but our desires should be restricted under the Sharia framework. Because remember, we are not free, quote unquote free. We are slaves of Allah. So the point is, the choice is, do I want to become a gynecologist and serve the ummah? And to do that, I may have to disobey Allah for 6 years, 7 years, maybe 10 years. I don't know. I may have to disobey Allah every day because college is 5 times a week. I may have to travel in a bus. I may have to travel with men pushing me here and there just to become a gynecologist. SubhanAllah. Mushkila. Allah al-Mustan. Naam, all the girls cannot afford to go to such a... Yes, I agree with you. But that's the same point I'm saying. So it's a choice between wanting to do what you want to do and the path which leads to that. If the path is good, clean, without disobeying Allah, please be my guest. No problem, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, it's fantastic. Become a gynecologist, become an engineer, become whatever. But bear in mind, another point I want to just mention. In fact, I was just having this discussion with my daughter a few hours back, subhanAllah. Bear in mind that once a sister becomes a gynecologist, for example, she may have to study quite a bit, right? So what about her marriage now? I'm asking the sister who asked me this question. What about the marriage now, right? Brothers, sisters, please stop your questions. I don't have the time. We'll do these questions tomorrow, inshallah. I will note them down. We will answer them tomorrow. So I just want to finish with this last one. So what about the marriages now? Let's look practicality. Yeah. Now she's married. Sorry, she's a doctor. She's a gynecologist. Alhamdulillah. And who would want to marry a gynecologist? Maybe another doctor. Maybe another equally qualified man. Because usually men, they don't like to marry someone who's above them in terms of what shall I say? Career or learning. Usually this is the case. There are exceptions, but usually this is the case. So now what happens, la qadar Allah, if the proposals for this sister who's a gynecologist after spending 8 years leading gynecologists of the city, her proposals for marriage are shortening down, are coming down. So again, my question is, what is her priority in life as a mother, as a sister, as whatever you're for her? What is your daughter's priority in life? What is your own priority in life? Is it to get married and face Allah, being a successful mother and even successful wife? Or is it to face Allah, being the leading, topmost, board certified gynecologist in the world? That's the option. Remember, we all have to face Allah. So for a moment, pause, forget the ummah. Inshallah, Allah will take care of everybody. Look at your own family first. Save yourself and your family. I'm not saying don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't become a gynecologist. As long as you can do it without disobeying Allah, please be my guest. No problem, inshallah. But bear in mind, she has to get married one day and she has to have children. And that's her ideal role. As we saw, we saw so many ahadith and so many, mashallah, ayat. Karna bayutakunna, stay in your houses. And do not expose yourself like the people of Jahiliyyah wal-Ula. Tabarruj. We saw all of this, alhamdulillah. So her priority is to serve her husband and her child and her family. Aisha radiallahu anha, al-Mu'minin, Khadija, Asiya bint Mulahama, the wife of Fir'aun, Fatima bint Muhammad, Asma bint Abu Bakr. And we'll talk about them, inshallah, if you wish, next week, inshallah, next class. Leading examples. None of them were career women. None of them. Again, please, women are not equal to men and men are not equal to women. There is no equality like this in Islam. We are forcing it upon our throat, down our throats. We are forcing it upon the sisters of the Ummah. Become equal, go out, work and be like a man, fly a plane, fly a F-16. We are forcing it on them. This is not their job. They have a much better job, much easier job, much tougher job, whatever. And this is what preserves families. Look around you, look in the West, what's happening? Families are breaking down, Muslim families. Why? What is the root cause? Go down and search the root cause. Feminism is the root cause, in a word, in a nutshell. Time. We want to stop for now, inshallah, because it's time to complete this today. And we'll continue, inshallah, tomorrow, 4 p.m., inshallah, bismillah. If everybody is avoiding to become a gynecologist, then there won't be any lady to treat a Muslimah. Please clarify. I already clarified this, but tomorrow, inshallah, everybody wants to become a gynecologist. Alhamdulillah. Taib, Jazakumullah khairan. We will see you, inshallah, tomorrow, 4 p.m. same time. And the questions I couldn't answer, I will try to do them tomorrow, inshallah. And we'll see if we can finish it tomorrow. If not, we'll take another class, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وآخر الدعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.